I love farm celery. I messed that up already. Hi, I love farm celery. Seriously, maybe you've heard me talk about how celery was coming soon in the market, and maybe you puzzled on why on earth I was excited. Like our tomatoes, my first love, you will not find a comparable version of this celery in a grocery store. Sure, you can probably find it at another local farm, but not at a store. This is not your run-of-the-mill, watery, fibrous, blah, soup starter ants on a log from your childhood. This is intense flavor, packed in a crunchy, refreshing stem, topped with the most flavorful leaves you'll ever have. This deserves to take the center stage in your recipes. Time to pull out all those celery-centric dishes. What are you doing? I'm trying to record. Go away. Close the door. I don't want your sandals in my room. Black pepper beef and celery stir-fry. P.S. I love farm celery. I wouldn't make this recipe with regular store-bought celery. It just wouldn't be the same. I mean, it would be okay, but definitely not the same. You can sub in something besides beef, but if you do beef, try at least once with it. The seared meat with the celery is a thing you don't want to miss out on. That said, you can use chicken or even tofu, but I'd press the tofu first to get as much water out so you can get some good crispy texture on it in the pan. You can also rub in some other crunchy vegetable for the celery if you want. Cabbage would be okay to use here. Summer vegetable stew, aka giambota. This popped up on my Instagram feed this weekend from Food52 and Dan Pelosi, and I knew I had to share it. What a perfect use for everything you may have around. Yes, that ingredient is long, but likely just a list of all the leftover stuff in your fridge you don't know what to do with. So, instead of feeding your compost pile, make this stew with all the odds and ends kicking around. It might feed an army, but you won't have to cook for a while. Win-win. Grilled panzanella with corn and tomatoes. Sure, you'll probably just eat that corn on the cob like I will likely do as well, but I love a good panzanella. When the tomato juices get going and the vinegar and oil, the charred corn, the basil, and you add the charred seasoned bread, and you don't have to floss afterwards from the corn on the cob. Now that doesn't sound half bad. Weekly recipes with Terry and Mimi. Scan the QR code below to go straight to their website. Jubilee Farm style fried rice is the quintessential get salt bits and pieces meal, where all the parts add up to so much more than the sum of their individuals. Like a good community, we are better together. It's a great way to make a large cabbage disappear into an enjoyable meal. Continue your own community metaphor. Here are 2 sauce options that work well with fried rice. Asian stir-fry sauce with tasty complexities engendered by fish sauce, oyster sauce, tamari, and some heat. And our favorite standby drizzle, ginger sauce.
I love going to the hospital, it's fun. I love it when they use a needle to put salt water in my blood. It's fun. I love it when they drag me around on a little bed with wheels on it. I love going to the hospital. I love it when they charge my insurance for lots and lots of money and seeing the people paying. It's fun.
And I was worried, of course, because I don't normally see rather large ships. And that is why I decided, all at once in fact, that I should turn around for fear of this rather large ship. Ships, they frighten me. Perhaps I shouldn't have become a sailor.
Well, I'm not saying you should have, but, I mean, how bad are ships really? I mean, I'm not saying that ships are good or that they're bad, but if you see a ship, is it really frightening? Like, I'm not saying that you're a coward, but what's so terrifying about a giant ship, as you put it, a rather large ship? I don't see a problem with it.
Well, if I were to go to the hospital and there were rather large ships at the hospital, I would laugh. I would think it was very funny, and they'd probably take me away because I wouldn't be laughing too much at the rather large ships that they have at the hospital. And so I didn't know what would happen after that because I didn't really put much thought into it. But if there were a rather large ship at the hospital, perhaps I would want to go there more often. Or maybe I am frightened, as he said, and I wouldn't want to go to the hospital. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to find out for myself and see.
This strawberry cake completely blew me away. After years of mediocre from-scratch strawberry cakes, my experiences My expectations were pretty low. It was time to taste test my efforts. Biting into the first pastel pink forkful was the moment of truth. I cried tears of joy. Or were those actual tears because I just dirtied every dish with all this strawberry cake recipe testing? Let's get down to business. Watch me make the recipe below. I find it challenging to pack real strawberry flavor into cake without the crunch of fake strawberry flavoring. My goal was to create a strawberry cake layer made entirely from real strawberries. We're tucking strawberries inside the cake and in the frosting as well. With the help of freeze-dried strawberries, I tackled strawberry frosting. I'll get to that below. But for strawberry cake, things have always been pretty lackluster in the flavor and texture department. Problems. Chopping up strawberries and folding into cake batter works, but then you're just eating vanilla cake with chunks of strawberries. Pureeing strawberries and folding into cake batter has potential, but the texture is always off. There's too much liquid. How about adding more flour to make up for that liquid? Then your cake is too dense, and the flavor is always lacking.
They served strawberry cake at the hospital one time, and I was there, and I was in the waiting room, and I don't know what they were doing to me, but there was cake at the cafeteria, and I went there, and I ate the strawberry cake, and it was really disgusting, I didn't like it, but the point was, I don't know, but there was cake, and I ate the cake, and I think my insurance actually paid for that cake. I love it when they pay for things.
Strawberry jam could work, but I prefer to start with real strawberries. So how can we pack real strawberry flavor into cake batter without adding too much liquid? Reduce the strawberries down. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. How to pack real strawberry flavor into cake. 1. Puree fresh strawberries. 2. Reduce to a stick. 3. Let cool. 4. Stir into cake batter. Puree 1 pound of ruby red strawberries. You'll need a food processor or blender for this step, and again you'll need when you make the frosting. Take that strawberry puree and reduce it down on the stove. This, my friends, is where all the magic happens. Like I mentioned above, you want a concentrated flavor with little amount of liquid. You begin with 1 cup of hot pink puree and reduce down to 1/2 a cup. After 30 minutes, it will be a very thick and red liquid. Add this thick and highly concentrated strawberry flavor to your cake batter instead of the thinner strawberry puree. The reduced strawberry puree will go into the cake batter. No need to strain the seeds first. They disappear when the cake is baked. Since the reduced strawberry puree needs to be completely cooled down, I suggested getting it started the day before. Just let the reduced strawberry puree sit in the refrigerator overnight and make the cake batter the following day. Strawberry cake batter. The cake batter starts from my white cake. This vanilla-flavored cake proved to be the best jumping-off point for a strawberry cake. I kept the majority of the recipe the same, but I removed some of the wet ingredients to make room for 1/2 a cup of reduced strawberries. The cake is light, springy, soft, and fluffy. It's also wet. And really hard to cut through it. The reduced strawberry puree will tint the cake batter a lovely pastel pink, and if you want, you can add a small drop of red food coloring to brighten that hue. Not necessary, of course. I added a very teeny drop. Expect a velvety and slightly thick cake batter. No artificial flavor. Nothing from a box. Just pure strawberries. Boiled down to their very essence. Linoleum planks, yes. I put linoleum planks in my strawberry cake to make it taste better. You can taste the fresh strawberry flavor in the baked cake, but the flavor is really brought out when you combine it with strawberry frosting. Like strawberry cake, strawberry frosting has always left me feeling a little defeated. Fresh strawberries were the issue. The frosting will always curdle when the added moisture. And no amount of fresh strawberries could get me the strawberry flavor I craved. Instead of settling for artificial strawberry flavor, I took a trip from Sally's candy addiction. Strawberry dust. Grab some freeze-dried strawberries, grind them up, and toss them into the frosting. I actually added freeze-dried strawberries to the cake batter as one of my test recipes. This was an awful decision and an epic fail. The cake was atrocious. Texture, taste, and appearance, just no. But the freeze-dried straws are a yes for frosting. Where to buy freeze-dried strawberries? They're more commonly found than you think. I always find freeze-dried strawberries in my regular grocery store in the dried fruit aisle. Wegmans, Giant, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Amazon, and Target each carry them. Instead of a thicker strawberry buttercream, I used my silky cream cheese frosting recipe, tossed in the freeze-dried strawberry dust and milk, and was left with a frosting so pink Barbie would be jealous. Let's review. The tricks to homemade strawberry cake and frosting made with real strawberries. 1. Reduce strawberry puree in a cake batter. And 2. Freeze dry strawberries in the frosting. Have fun baking.